The Carol Rogers Show, starring Carol Rogers.
Hello, hello. I'm Carol Rogers, and you're still there for me. I have an amazing show for you. You are going to love this. I spell my name with a G-E-R-S. His is D-G-E-R-S. And we go back from North Omaha young days, but particularly in college. I guess you think I might be talking about Johnny Rogers. You have to wait and see. But you can't see what I'm talking about or whom I'm talking about until this wonderful Omaha History Minute. Please enjoy.
Is this Paris, France? Or this Venice, Italy? It's Omaha, Nebraska, in the summer of 1898, when the city was the host of the Trans-Mississippi and International Exposition, otherwise known as the 1898 World's Fair. From June 1st to October 31st in 1898, over 2.5 million people from around the world traveled to Omaha to view over 4,000 exhibits and enjoy world-class social and recreational events. The fairgrounds covered nearly 108 city blocks of land in northeast Omaha. The land was donated by Omaha banker Herman Kuntz. The European-style structures were temporary by design and were constructed out of plaster and horsehair, among other pliable materials. A Venetian-style lagoon was built in the middle of the Grand Court to complete the European theme of the fair. A much talked about feature of the exposition of 1898 was the illumination of buildings and fairgrounds through the use of thousands of electric light bulbs, which were powered by the General Electric plant that was custom built for the fair. The World's Fair also featured a visit from President McKinley, the Indian Congress with Apache Chief Geronimo in attendance, and Buffalo Bill Cody's world-famous Wild West show. Today, Coons Memorial Park in North Omaha is the only place in the city that commemorates the time when Omaha was the center of the world in the summer of 1898. You can find out more about the World's Fair of 1898 by visiting these websites. This has been an Omaha History Minute.
Wiley's kick gets high. It holds up there. Rogers takes the ball at the 30. He's hit and got away. Back upfield to the 35, to the 40. He's to the 45. He's to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 20, to the 10. He's all the way home. Holy moly. Man, woman, and child did that. Put him in the aisles. Johnny the Jet Rogers.
I guess you figured it out by now, huh? Number 20 in there, Johnny Rogers. Not really my brother, but my brother. Someone I've been proud of for so long. Johnny Rogers is with me today. I am so grateful to have you here, but you're a bit of a clown. You clowned me before this interview.
What did you say your name was?
See, he got jokes. He got jokes. You do not understand. We had set this up. He's very gracious to come and be on the Carol Rogers Show, Carol without the D. And I get this phone call. I'm going to play it for the world. Y'all need to get ready. Listen to what Johnny said to me. It's just not right now. It's significant that you hear this.
Can they hear it?
I hope you can hear it.
Yes, this is Johnny Rogers. I keep getting calls to this number, and I have no idea who it is. I just hope you quit calling because, you know, I just get all these kind of calls all the time. But just give me a break. Please don't call here no more. Thanks.
Please don't call here no more.
I know, you got into a character. I'm so glad you made it here. On the way here, you got me. I'm so grateful that you have a sense of humor, but I wasn't ready for it. But I'm ready for you.
All right.
I'm ready for you,
So
or at least my notes would like me to think so. Johnny, you are an amazing man. I am so
you
honored.
You didn't prep me. I didn't get prepped.
No, now you on my hot seat. Got you, brother. All right. Well, okay. Where do I begin? Your career has been so illustrious. It really has. Except Johnny the Jet was among the most celebrated Saturday afternoon big red football heroes of my time for sure. And I know that there are 2 other Heisman Trophy. I met Eric Couch earlier today, as a matter of fact. But you were our first, Johnny. How was that? I mean, we were talking before the cameras came on that you're watching yourself and you're just in the zone. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
Like you said, most athletes, when they're on high levels, they come out of themselves and they get into a zone. And you really can't think about what to do. You have to react on what's doing. And the biggest thing is you just can't have fear, because fear makes false evidence appearing real. You think things are happening and they might not happen. So you just got to react on what's happening and just see what comes out of it. And you're a creator. That's when you learn really to be a creator, because you make things happen on the spot. But it's only as significant if you have a team. And I was fortunate enough to be playing with a great team, and more African Americans really on the field when I was playing that really had ever played around in the country at one time together, because blacks weren't really allowed to play right prior to then. And you never really had teams where they had that many blacks playing. In 1970, when we played LSU for the championship in the Orange Bowl, they didn't have any black players playing at all. And then in 71, when we played Alabama again, they didn't have any black players playing at all either. Maybe one if they had any, but it wasn't, it wasn't popular to have black players playing, and they couldn't stay in the hotels, they couldn't do a lot of different things. And the Coach Devaney came along and basically integrated football, and people in the South figured that, our team really helped integrate football in the South, because after we played Alabama, then Bear Bryant scored a 72-yard on him. He said, I got to go out and get me some of them.
Some of them.
Some of them.
Some of them.
And now their whole team is darn near black.
Yeah, there you go. Matter of fact, you can't, if I'm incorrect, I doubt that I am, the majority are African Americans on football teams, many of the football teams. Now I'm just going to step back.
Many of the football teams, I pick out Alabama and LSU because they didn't have any.
Yeah.
And now they have the majority of the players are black. They're allowed to play because they want to win.
Yes.
They always had the thing that you have to have speed, and speed meant you had to get black players. And Coach Devaney was smart enough to really be able to do that. And I was Nebraska's first Heisman Trophy winner, but
I know.
I think what really is significant to me is that I got drafted to the Dodgers in high school.
That's what I heard. You were baseball.
Oh, Josh Gibson. You remember Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Josh was my first coach in baseball, and we played. We were very good. Larry Zachary and Lloyd Smith and a lot of O'Neill. We had a lot of great baseball players at that time. And I was able to get drafted to the Dodgers. And I went to California for the tryout, and I was there a week. Now, when I got there, my dad was supposed to pick me up at the airport, and he did. I was 17 years old at the time, but I'd never met my dad, so I didn't know what he looked like coming to the airport.
Wow.
And I told him right then that we weren't going to play father-son, we could play friends. He wanted to be friends. And so he took me around, all around, and one of the most significant places he took me was to the Coliseum. And when he took me to the Coliseum, where SC, because I was interested in going to USC, not Nebraska.
That too.
Not Nebraska.
I'm glad
but
you
he
came
told
to
me,
us.
he told me that Ernie Davis was the first African American to win the Heisman Trophy. In my history, he told me when I went to play baseball, Devaney told me if I came to Nebraska that I could play baseball and football. And so that was the reason why I came to Nebraska instead of really trying to take my step to go to USC. And then a year or so into football and baseball, he told me that he wanted me to quit baseball and to just come out for football because they had all these different ways they wanted to get me to football. And I said, well, Coach, you promised me that if I came to Nebraska, I could play baseball and football. I said, you can't break your word.
To take one away from you, that's not the deal. That wasn't the deal.
That wasn't the deal. He said, all right, Johnny. He said, you're right. But if you come out for football willingly and drop baseball, that you'll be the first guy that we ever endorsed for the Heisman. And because of that, I took that deal and I became the fourth African American in history to win the Heisman Trophy.
I'm going to tell you something that we felt when you won the Heisman. I was at UNL that year that you won. 72 was my first year going in, 72, 73 year. And please accept this because I've not felt anything like this until I correlate both of them. You won the Heisman, the joy, the the sense of, I'd written the cross-racial pride, first of all. Everybody was proud. The euphoria, as if we had done it, right? The sense of accomplishment statewide that you created having won that, that superlative, as the first African American here doing it. I have not felt that, had not felt that same kind of joy until President Obama got elected.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a euphoria, a joy, a sense of accomplishment, all of these things that I'm telling you, we felt when President Obama was elected. And I said, I felt this before. When Johnny won the Heisman, everybody was beaming. Everybody, this is such a Nebraska, Nebraska is such a football-oriented state. It's our thing. Everybody beamed, everybody, Johnny's our guy, Johnny's our guy. Just, so I'm grateful that it didn't work out for you in California, that they took you, that baseball wasn't the main thing for you, but that we could be so proud of you.
Well, I'm just fortunate that I came here because at that time that we were able to recruit all those African Americans, and that we were able to integrate with other white players that were playing, that we came together and we played as a team. And even though the Heisman Trophy is given to an individual, it really is a team award.
Of course.
There's really no way that if we didn't have all those guys there at that time integrating with the other white guys, because we had like 8, 10, 12 All-Americans on both sides of the ball. When we played Oklahoma, we must have about 14 All-Americans on the field at the same time.
Amazing.
On both teams.
Tough.
I mean, it was tough.
It was extremely tough.
But it's high level of competition, and that just makes you better.
Yes, and you rose to the occasion because of the team that supported you, you know.
Oh yeah, because they were all Americans too. They were just trying to be the best that they could be.
And
we were serious about it.
oh yeah, mission accomplished. Now you also got an award referring to the Husker of the Century.
Husker Player of the Century.
Husker Player of the Century.
And the most valuable player in the history of the Big 8 Conference.
How does one feel getting this? I mean, you don't think about this sort of thing, but when you get an award like that, okay, I've been close to some of the Grammys that I've been on, but I haven't been the Grammy Award winner. How does it feel that your name is on that and that you've been selected? What's your euphoric moment?
Well, I'm just glad that there are some things that once established, they can't be taken away. You know, lots of things you get and you lose, but you know, accomplishments that you can achieve, and you will always have done it, because you're trying to get to these levels and things go up and down all the time. But there's some plateaus that you hit that you can really never take away. And the accomplishments that we were able to make at the University of Nebraska will never ever go away. They're just part of history. And history is his story. They're just part of my story, part of our story, Nebraska's story. And like I said, a lot of people don't know that, you know, what Devaney did. And what he really did was he came with a bunch of coaches, similar to what they're doing right now with Mike Riley, with professional coaches that are really player-oriented coaches.
Wish him well.
Yeah. It really makes a difference. And I think the cycle has came around.
Pivotal change.
Came around again to where we're really going to see that type of football.
Season. I'm excited.
I am too, for the first time in a while.
Yeah, we've been needing this breath of fresh air for a long time.
Oh yeah.
One thing that I learned about you, other than you like to play jokes, I'm still not over it, okay, it's going to be a little while, is that you decided to go back to school and start all over again in your college study.
Right.
Wow. I mean, yes, okay, you had gone to Canada to play ball, then you'd gone back to California, and yet you decided to get your education, but not start off where you left off. You started all over again in broadcasting.
Well, I had started a magazine in San Diego.
Okay.
All right. They had a deal in Montreal called TV Hebdo, which is basically was an entertainment and TV magazine. So, and when I went to San Diego, they had the largest saturation of cable in the United States, and they didn't have a cable TV magazine. And when I got hurt and retired for football, I asked God, well, what should I do? And so you fill a void. And so I went out and I started Tuned In San Diego, which became the largest magazine in the history of San Diego. And it was the first weekly cable TV guide in the United States, in San Diego.
Wow.
All right, well, after I sold it and I came back to school, I decided for the first time I really wanted to get as much out of education as I could.
Education, there we go.
Because I was going around telling kids that you could be what you wanted to be, do what you wanted to do, and all the time I had quit school. Now, I had to do that for my own children because kids don't do what you say, they do what they see you doing. Mm-hmm. And so it was important that I go back and that I get my degree, and if I was going to get my degree, I needed to get into something that I was familiar with. And I was familiar with the print broadcast and advertising. I did advertising sales. Yes. I taught women and guys how to go out and sell advertising. So it was natural that I would come back and I would get into broadcasting and advertising. And little did I know that some 20 years after that, right today, that I am advertising director for new business development for the United States and Canada for RFD-TV, the only rural television network in the country.
Yes.
Yeah, so it just came
Absolutely
full circle.
Amazing. And you said something, you said that it was filling a void. I think the best wording is, as I've read these accomplishments that you're telling me about, it wasn't filling a void, it was showing your resilience, the same sort of resilience you had on the field. Get knocked down if they could catch you. Get knocked down, get back up, go for the goal. And I'm so grateful that you've done something that I have to do. I'm what I call a perennial undergrad. And so I have a couple of children who are perennial undergrads. One of my daughter has a master's in social work, and one is finishing her degree. The other two, you know, I am not telling them what you said you had to do for your daughter. And I think that we still embrace education needfully, just as, and that you did it. I'm still well, I might go to school, go online, take a couple of courses, you know.
Oh, I did that too.
Yeah, but you finished.
I procrastinated for
finished.
years, and then one day I just took off and went to Lincoln and enrolled. And a friend of mine, Lynn Finney, had showed me his report card, his transcript, and he had got almost all A's and B's. So I said, shoot, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get all A's and B's. I went down there, and I ended up graduating with a 3.8 average, but I was getting A's and B's, but I was, at one time, when I took Spanish, I found myself hoping I could just get a C.
Wow.
Spanish was every day. It was tough as it could get.
Oh my gosh.
I was happy just
And
to
yet
get
you're in
the C.
California, that's the national language, I mean the state language is Spanish.
Oh yeah, well Spanish, and I took French in Montreal, and Spanish, but Spanish is tough. I mean, especially when you get older trying to get another language.
Yeah.
Then I got out, and I was down back there, all the kids that were in class with me, they used to say, Mr. Rogers, what are you going to be when you graduate? What are you going to be when you graduate? Wow. And I'd always tell them 50.
Good answer. Good answer.
Now, I got out a little bit before 50, but I do believe that education is not really part of your life. Education is life itself.
Is life itself.
And you got to always continue
Yes.
learning and upgrading your skills and whatever.
Yes.
And like I said, so your kids can see what you're doing.
Yes.
Now, because I did do that, I believe that my son Terry graduated from University of Nebraska, and we came here. He was Player of the Year for the state of California, and he's been working with Eli Lilly for 20, 30 years here now. My oldest daughter, LaTanya, she graduated from Nebraska with a degree in math, and then went on to the University of Georgia and got a master's in statistics. And now she's an ordained minister and does all the technology work for TD Jakes, the powerhouse in Denver.
Yes.
Then I have Johnny Rogers, my daughter Johnny. Johnny graduated from UCLA in business and then went on to the University of Chicago, which is probably the best business school in the United States, got a master's degree, and now she runs Kraft Foods. She got $1 billion account that she runs right now at 30 years old. And my young daughter Jewel, that I have, my other son Daryl, he works for Eli Lilly in Denver, and Jewel was Architect of the Year here last year here in Omaha, and they did a rendering for North High. They're getting ready to raise money to build a new stadium at North High, and Jewel did the rendering.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
So
I could never get a
yeah.
Heisman. I'm not athletic. I wear high heels. I'm not, no. Beyonce's athletic, and she wears high heels. So scratch that, okay? But I'm gonna work harder, piece by piece, on completing my education. I mean, I'm trilingual, okay. Big boasts of those sorts of things, world travel, yada, yada, yada. But every fall, no joke, every fall, I miss school.
Well, I
Every
tell you, the
fall.
best school you could go to right now is Metro Community College.
Yes.
Metro's a great school, right? And right now we have the JET Award going on, where we give an award to the best college return specialist, punt return to kickoff guy in the country. And we use that in order to raise money for kids to go back to school in the trades. Because I came from Tech High School, I really appreciate being in the trades. And I realize that plumbers and electricians, if kids were getting in that field, they make more money than doctors. More money than doctors. And Metro Community College has about 50 different career choices that they could take, and I can send a kid for $1,000 in the Pell Grant to school for a whole year without having to take out a student loan.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
Metro Tech was what it was, and now it's Metropolitan Community College. And there's a college in Elkhorn,
Right.
several different colleges. And
South Omaha?
yeah, and how many different kinds of careers do they
About
seat?
50.
That's amazing, and it's
Yeah.
affordable.
It's affordable. You
Okay,
do not have to
that's where
take
I'm
out a
going.
student loan.
There you go.
You know, those student loans are death.
Any kind of loan is death.
Right, well,
You know,
especially those,
yeah.
they accumulate so fast. I
They
think
do.
the biggest population in the country right now filing bankruptcies on because of their student loans. Senior citizens are filing bankruptcy because of their student loans.
They hadn't completed paying them, so they're having to file bankruptcy.
If you don't get it, you could spend a lot of money. If you don't get a really good job,
Yeah.
you can come out with a degree. But if you don't get a really good job,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to be able to pay for
I know
it.
people who have graduated and have had to take very low paying jobs. I want to ask you something that I learned today when I met Eric Crouch
Okay?
and Jerry Nebraska
Murtaugh?
Great, yes. Nebraska Greats Foundation. You're involved in this too. Talk to me about that.
I don't know too much about that. I think that's Jerry Murtaugh's project,
Yeah,
and I'm helping him
Yes.
do some things. But I'm just helping, like I'm helping you. I'm just visiting them
Aw.
and doing things
Gotcha.
that they need to have done. So I'm
Gotcha.
just spotting
Got
in.
you.
So I really can't tell you a lot about those guys. I help support so many different charities. I can't
No.
know what they're all doing, but we're all trying to do things, and we need to help each other do all the things.
Yes, we do.
By example, we have to really work together.
Yes.
And either we're going to work together and do things as brothers and sisters, or we're going to die apart as damn fools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite business post school and some of the ones that you've had here in Omaha?
I got Entrepreneur of the Year for Jetware. And Jetware, we were the first ones in the country to come up with juvenile bedding, collegiate bedding for kids. We had Husker sheets and comforters and shams, everything for kids' bedrooms. And we did it for like 25, 30 different schools across the United States. I was the largest vendor in JCPenney's for juvenile bedding products. And me and my
Amazing.
ex-wife, Joanna, Jewel's mother, we started that right after we had gotten married. And it turned out it was just one of the first. Now I'm we're doing collegiate jeans. We're with Husker logos or Sooner logos or Ohio State. We're doing all the alumni associations in the countries with the jean, just jeans like these, except they have logos in the back. We have Husker logos for whoever is a Husker alumni, a fan, or whatever the sport might be or the educational level might be, just supporting your school.
Wonderful.
But they're really nice jeans.
Is there retirement for you anytime?
No, there's not a
for
retirement.
you. Good
I'm
for
thinking
us.
about different things to do. You know, I have a speaking platform that I do called the Heisman Factor System that we go around the country and we talk about 10 minutes of insanity with all the different things you can do in 10 minutes to get yourself in trouble and take you 40 years to get out. You know, here I was 60 years old, just got a pardon from taking $90 almost
remember
100
that.
years ago.
I remember reading,
And,
well, not 100, but still it's shameful.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago, but right now,
Just the pardon,
we
not
get
what
we
you
can
did.
get in trouble too quickly and do things that you really don't think about, especially when you're young, you're kids. I was 17 years old, and everybody's going through 7-year trouble problems, and I didn't really need money. It was really just a prank, but our biggest cross to bear in our community is poverty. And when you're poor, you will do some crazy things. So it's really important to really focus in on that education for yourself.
Yes.
Just to see, you don't have to be playing sports, but just see whatever it is that you just want to do to be as good as you can be.
Yes.
As good, and you don't have to be trying to be wealthy, but you do have to be trying to be good at whatever it is that you think that you have a passion for, that you really want to be, and to know that if you're made in God's image, which you are, that you're a creator. And now it's time to start thinking and not, we have this low self-esteem that we can't do this, we can't do that. We can do anything. Anything that you put your mind to, you can do. You just got to hold the thought long enough and it will come true. And when I was young, I was like 10, 11 years old. I was down at the boys club. And Tommy Davis was running the boys club at the time, and I came down there, and he told my mother to come down there and bring me down there with him. He's going to help me out. And he said, I have basically a lot of skills and a unique talent for baseball, but I'm in desperate need of a coach, somebody to teach me the finer arts and skills of the game. And over south there was Josh Gibson, and if he could get me with Josh Gibson, it could take my career to a whole new level. And he asked my mother, he said, well, what do you think about that? And my mother said, well, Johnny ain't going nowhere. And he said, those coaches in North Omaha, they're doing pretty good. We're just going to keep him right there. And he said, well, what do you think, Johnny? I said, I want to make $100,000. And my mother slapped me.
Oh, my.
Because blacks didn't make $100,000.
But
Period.
You are such an example. You didn't rest on your laurels with the Heisman. You are still a very vibrant and entrepreneurial man and well-educated. And I thank God for the example that you set, because you walk the walk and talk the talk. And we're running out of time to talk. That's a perfect segue, isn't
right?
it? Yeah! See what happens when you're having a good time?
The moral of the story is I held that thought for 10 years until I got that $100,000.
Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. So you're going to loan me tuition to go to college, huh? I'm kidding. You just have to plug shamelessly where you go. You've been watching The Carol Rogers Show with Johnny Rogers.
What'd you say your name was again? Oh,
he got jokes. Thank you so much for being with us, Johnny. Johnny, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. You are too funny.
It's funny.
Thank you.
Husker fans, football fanatics, and autograph hounds, the college football autograph event of the century is coming this Saturday as one of the events in the second annual Husker Heisman Weekend of Celebrity Football Fundraisers. Fill your fondest football dreams with a fortune in football figures.
Ricky Williams, Charles Woodson, Jay Burwanger.
And don't forget about Johnny Rogers.
Mike Rozier, Billy Sims, Gino Toretta.
And don't forget about Johnny Rogers.
Rich Glover, Charles Ryan.